Hello, everyone. We have a challenge here, which is afternoon, after lunch. Let's try to have an interesting discussion, relevant for you guys, and hopefully, after this panel, you learn something, or some tips, or mistakes to avoid to make sure that your app or your business is successful. So a brief introduction. My name is Tiago. I come from Portugal. We are an Android app store. We have a booth outside, so if you have an Android app, please stop by, let's talk. And we have here to my left, we have Bennett from Vungle, then Tal from Tal Ron, Drihem Co. Then we have Daniel from ClicksMob, and then finally Govind from Branch. So guys, can you just start just for the people to know who are you, where you come from, what is your company, what you do, very briefly, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're having a great time. I'm Govind. I take care of India initiatives for Branch Metrics. Branch Metrics is a Palo Alto-based deep linking solutions company. We are free and open source. We are based in Palo Alto, Berlin, and India. We have a booth over here. If you have any questions regarding deep linking, please feel free to come by and let's have a chat. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Daniel Newman. I'm the VP of Business Development and Strategy for a company called ClicksMob. We're a leading mobile performance platform, which means that we help app developers and global brands with their user acquisition to acquire more users on performance-based models, cost per install, and cost per action.
So hi, everybody. My name is Tal Itzhak Ron. Tal is the first name, Itzhak the middle name, and Ron is the surname. Popular Israeli name, and I'm from Tel Aviv, as you can hear from my accent. I know many of the people here, or lawyers of many of the people here in the room. And we are gaming lawyers and ad tech lawyers. My firm, Tal Ron, Drihem Co, is one of the prominents in these fields. And I'm really happy to be invited to speak here. Thank you.
Thanks, Tal. My name is Bennett Carroll. I work for Vungle. We're a premium in-app video network. For the developers in this room, there are two key reasons why you would want to work with us. The first is, as developers, our SDK enables you to show HD video in your app as a means of monetizing your inventory. On the other side of the business, you're also able to run campaigns with Vungle as a means to drive high-quality user acquisition to your titles. So if you have any questions, my colleague Sean and I are here today, and we'd love to chat with you.
So, I think many of you are asking yourselves, like I did when I saw a lawyer in a panel about mobile apps. So, Tal, I don't know what is app tech and game lawyer, and if I have an app, why should I care to talk to you?
Yeah, lots of people ask me, you know, what does this guy with a three-piece suit, now I'm with a two-piece suit, because it's Bangkok, you know, but normally in most of the events, Barcelona, in London, all the time, you know, you can see me with a suit. What does this funny guy do in these events? And what is an ad tech lawyer and a gaming lawyer? And I think that if we see lots of companies in these sectors starting as bootstrapping, they do what they do by themselves. They start with initial funding. Normally it's 3 people working either in a garage in Barcelona or in a warehouse in Bangkok, and starting without any formal agreement between them two. And sometimes that works, but the problem is that sometimes it doesn't work. So I think that one of the first factors that you need to do when you establish a venture dealing with apps and dealing with innovative technologies is to make sure that all the legal foundations are set solidly. It means that the proper founders agreement, it means proper terms and conditions, it means agreement with employees and agreements with the suppliers. All of this should be very specific and very solid for a successful app company.
Okay, so after I saw the lawyer was in the panel, that was my first question. Then I saw this guy, Govind, from India doing deep linking. I have no idea what is deep linking, so first, can you explain, because some people maybe with mobile apps don't also know what's deep linking. And after you explain what's deep linking, Why is it relevant? Why should me as an app owner or app developer care about deep linking? What do you bring to the table?
Okay, great. Firstly, how many of you in the audience know what a deep link is? Can you raise your hands? Okay, very few. Yeah, good enough, but very few. Fundamentally, what a deep link is, so every web link that we see is a deep link, right? There's a T-shirt page in Amazon, and someone shares on email or Facebook. We click on the link, and we land in that exact page of T-shirt in Amazon.com, right? Not the homepage of Amazon.com. But that's very convenient in web. But if you actually see that in mobile, it's not the case. Because Google Play Store or iOS Store is a black box, no data can be passed through this, which is why deep linking for mobile is very important. A deep linking enables a user to go to the specific content inside an app. That is a standard deep link. What is deferred or contextual deep link, which is what Branch does, is go to the specific content inside an app, whether or not the user has application installed, which means that if someone clicks on the link, they go to the App Store, they download the app, and then to the specific content inside the app. That's what a deep linking is, if I'm clear. Now, getting back to the question, why is deep linking so important for every app developer? Yeah, every one of us know, everyone over here are app developers. Every one of you guys know that you spend a lot of time and a lot of energy, a lot of excitement goes into the building of an application. But no one focuses on how do you make sure the user gets into the app? That means the onboarding, or once he clicks on anything that he sees on mobile, what is the process of you taking to the app? The entire experience is very important. So the deep linking concept makes sure that the experience of user getting inside the app is very smooth and very convenient, which is why deep linking is very important in my sense. Hope I'm clear.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. Bennett, I know what is video ads. When I saw what you were doing, I was curious. I don't know if other people in the room are curious. I usually see video ads like in YouTube, right? The little clips before I watch the video. What about in games? When do video ads show up in games or apps? And is it for everyone? For all the app developers should think about video ads?
Yeah, sure. So in my role at Vungle, I have the opportunity to work with a lot of different developers, small independent developers, medium-sized developers. Like you guys, they're very, very passionate about gaming. A lot of the time, they're gamers themselves. From the start of the production on the title, they're very, very interested in building a game that people want to play. They pour their heart and their soul into creating great graphics, great gameplay, great engagement. But they get to soft launch and they get to their hard launch, and then the question becomes, okay, how do I make money with this app? So, I trust that you guys are all gaming fans, but you're ultimately here because you want to make a career out of games, and you want to make sure that your app makes money. Video ads are increasingly becoming the clear choice for monetizing your app, and then also engaging new users and acquiring users. So with our technology, you're able to put HD full screen video into your game. If you're spending months, years developing a game, you don't want poor user quality ad experiences. Similarly, if you're looking to acquire new users, you don't want to show a poor static ad that really doesn't do justice to the intensive work that you've put into your game. So I would encourage you all to look at video ads, whether it be with Vungle or any of the other networks and competitors here, to really understand how you're going to market your game in the App Store. We've all spoken about how competitive it is. You want to put your best foot forward and ensure that the users out there have a chance to see your game, engage with it, and ultimately spend money.
All right. Daniel, analytics, okay? I thought the analytics that I should care about is the number of downloads from the App Store. That's it. Is it?
So first, let me just refer to some of the interesting things that Benny were speaking about. Video ads, indeed, it's a growing format. Video has been growing tremendously in 2015 and will even grow in 2016 in terms of monetization and acquisition. before we even look at analytics, you keep in mind that the app ecosystem is a very crowded marketplace. So figures show that there are roughly more than 3 million apps out there available in different stores, on Google Play or in the App Store. So the first challenge, or the first thing that app developers need to keep in mind, is that they need to have their app discovered, because that's the #1 challenge. So in order to be challenged, they need to understand that, you know, app developers and ventures, they can develop great games, great apps, but their core business is not user acquisition. So this is why companies like us are in the market. This is our core business, and what we do is we help with user acquisition. Now, what we do, the market is heavily moving into performance-based models, where app developers, to your questions, not just look at downloads. Again, downloads are important, but we look at what the users are actually doing after they have downloaded the app. So things like retention and purchases behavior, engagement. So these are some of the things, some of the most important KPIs that you as app developers should look at after you've acquired the user.
All right. Tal, I have an app. I know it's important to talk with a lawyer. I have a cousin just graduated from law school. Why can't I just go and talk to him or her about what I have to be careful? Why should I talk with an ad tech and gaming lawyer? How are you different from a regular lawyer?
Well, okay, first of all, we have our association called International Masters of Gaming Law. It's a worldwide organization based in the United States, and we have over 400 members now all around the world that do only gaming and ad tech law. Now, what we do, first of all, you know, it's better than, okay, there are a few levels. Either you get an ad tech / gaming lawyer, or you get a regular lawyer, but I think that many of the people who are starting with a technology don't even use a lawyer. They just cut and paste and copy something they found over the internet. And imagine how much time, you know, I get lots of instances of really nice and successful apps. Like we have a client who does a combination of gaming and some kind of other leisure activity, and developed something really, really nice, but the terms and condition was copied from another application, and then he took his nephew to change and to edit it, and it, you know, I'm not speaking all about the copyright infringement. It said there's so much wrong stuff. Sometimes they even leave the original names and telephone numbers of the original authors inside, and then they found it set to another application. And at the end of the day, well, in this specific sectors, like if you don't, let's say you have some kind of a program that has that installs some deep issues in the computer. If you don't have some kind of terms and conditions that will cover you, you're in big trouble with the U.S. authorities, for instance, with the FTC. And at the end of the day, it's all depending on really niche clauses that should be inside in the agreement, in the EULA, in the end user license agreement. Without specific clauses there, it's really, really a problem. And the problem starts when there is a more critical mass of users. That's the issue.
Okay, so for sure I'll talk to you, not to my cousin. Govind, I want to ask you something that I get asked all the time. So I work with an Android app store, and everybody comes to me and say, oh, Tiago, I don't have money to do iOS and Android app. Shall I do Android first? Shall I do iOS first? What is your opinion?
This is a very tricky question. Whatever I'm going to answer, don't take it seriously. It's just an opinion.
That's why I passed it to you.
So yeah, I think, see, firstly, it's a very tricky question. It completely depends on the strategy of what you're going to, whether you want to go for mobile first, whether you want to have a little of web presence first, which country you are in, whether you're in the US, India, Middle East, Southeast. So some of the observations that I've had is if you want to go mobile first, and if you're in the US, go for iOS, because iOS in the US has a lot of users, and when you have paid element with you, then people in the US are ready to pay if your app is really good in the US. And if you are in India, I would suggest go for Android because there's so many Android users out there. And if you have paid element, don't go because no one is going to pay for an app to you in India. Yeah, I think that's pretty much about it because it's a sleek answer and there's no particular approach towards it. It completely depends on the geography and the strategy that you personally have to grow your company.
Okay, so after the explanation of Govind, I make a decision. I get my iOS or Android app. Daniel, I have my app. You mentioned it's such a crowded space, 3-point-something million apps in these app stores. Google Play, App Store, Aptoide. Okay, now how do I get my users, right? I'm a guy, I don't have deep pockets. What will be your advice? I'm sure some people here in the room, they don't have budgets to go and try to do big marketing campaigns. What will be your advice for them?
So first, just going back quickly to the questions about iOS or Android, the simple answer is do your homework and see, in each market there's obviously the operating system which is more dominant. So if you're looking, for example, in the Indian market, if 92% of the users in India are Android users, yes, don't develop in iOS. So that's going back to the operating system question. And to your questions about how to get users when you start, I think the most important thing is, at the end of the day, spread the word, build a community. You can use the social networks, and you should use blogging, content writing. Again, if you're looking at a starting point where your budgets are more limited, I think there are very nice, very good tools such as Facebook or dedicated editorials or content or bloggers that you can use to kind of start small, building a community, communicating with your users, hearing their feedbacks. So for example, if you just launch an app, ask your users, what do they like? What do they don't like? Try to communicate and learn from their feedback in order to make sure that you're in the right direction and your app is being enjoyed and used by your audience. So at the end of the day, try to communicate with your users, see what they like, see what they don't like, build a community, build a loyal user base. And I think after you've received some traction, start with obviously paid user acquisition channels to be more to look at more at scale.
So Bennett, I would like you also to give some tips, to add to what Daniel said in terms of how you get your users, and then I would like to explain just a little bit more how much effort do I have to make on my side to integrate your video ads, and what can I expect in terms of revenue. So I know I have like 10,000 users. What does it mean in terms of the revenue I can get through your video ads? So 2 questions, follow up and then how to integrate you.
Yeah, that was quite a few questions in one. I'll see if I can answer all of them. Apologies if I miss one or two. Yeah, exactly as Daniel said, you need to look at your user acquisition strategy and understand exactly what you're trying to get out of it. So there are a range of different options. I've spoken to quite a few advertisers this week, and a lot of the common questions are, what are your CPIs? How many users can I buy for X amount of dollars? That's very similar to the advertising, perspective in the USA and Europe 2 or 3 years ago. It was all about volume, quantity, scale. Increasingly though, with the growth of mobile video, the question around user quality and acquisition quality is becoming more important. So instead of how many users can I buy, it's how many good quality users can I buy that will stay in the game, that will play the game, that will share it with their friends. And mobile video is the perfect way to do that. Instant traffic is good, but most people acknowledge that the quality isn't great. With mobile video, you have an opportunity in 15 or 30 seconds to really capture what makes your game good, what makes your game interesting, and really engage people to come and play in your game, stick in your game, and ultimately, be a good quality user. In terms of revenue and price
and effort, before I get to the revenue, is it easy to put video ads in my game or to?
Yeah, so with a network like Vungle, you're able to advertise directly with our SDK integrated publishers. So there's no SDK integration required to run campaigns. You'd simply need to work with an account manager to set up your campaigns, get your creative sorted, and really set up your targeting to target the publishers that you want, target the type of users that you want, the operating system that you want, and really drill down into exactly who you're trying to find, as opposed to more of a blanket approach to buying quantity.
Yeah, go.
I would add that I totally agree with you that obviously the market is going more towards quality users, advertisers, app developers that are looking into key performance indicators such as retention, revenues, etc. But I think the key, like everything in life, is balance. Having a balance between testing out different types of campaigns. So combining both incentivized traffic, incentivized campaigns, again, to be able to reach that scale, because scale, it is important, and to stand out, but at the same time, also utilizing non-incentivized campaigns where you focus on user retention, engagement, in-app revenues, etc. So I think still balance between different strategies and different campaigns is key for success.
Can you tell me how much can I expect? Because you didn't tell me. So I have 10,000 users. What does it mean in terms if I start serving ads? And by the way, if I serve a banner versus video, shall I expect different revenues? So 10,000 users, just to have an idea, is that like $10,000 per month? I just want to have an idea. Me having an apps, knowing that I have 10,000 users, how much revenue can I expect when I start serving ads inside my app?
Well, I can't really give you a specific number. The question that you're asking is about publishing with Vungle. So if you wanted to integrate our SDK and show ads, again, that would depend on the number of daily active users that you have, the number of impressions that you show, what sort of frequency you put on a user in a given day. We do have traditionally very strong CPMs for our publishers due to the fact that video inventory is a lot more sought after by advertisers, and as a result, they're willing to pay a premium for that. So I would argue as a general rule that video inventory has higher CPMs than any static inventory, particularly in tier 1 countries where there's a very, very high appetite for advertisers to buy users in this way.
Okay, so now I would like to focus a little bit, based on your experience, important tips and mistakes that you should try to avoid when growing your business and developing your app. So for example, you, Tal, you mentioned a bit how you have to be careful, and these guys doing all wrong with the contracts. So in terms of terms and conditions, when you're doing lawyer paperwork, what, like 3 most important things that anyone having an app has to be careful about?
Well, one of the, I believe, the most important factor, specifically if you deal with apps that have some, let's say, risky or gray area elements to them, is to make sure that we're all aware of something that we call user consent. Okay? The user needs to know and to approve some certain factors, and this is generally speaking on apps, but if you're speaking on apps that does, financial apps, let's say apps that are linked to Forex or to binary options or to gaming, which are sometimes the most exciting, most risky, and sometimes the most rewarding for the operators. And these specific verticals, you need to be the most cautious. What I mean here is that there should be a specific I agree checkbox, and that will be monitored, that will show that, let's say if we're speaking about a financial application, yes, an application where your client plays $1,000 and then plays against the dollar, the US dollar, euro, CFDs, contract for differences. In these type of applications, one should have a really specific risk disclaimer that the client knows, that the traders know that he's risking this amount of money and that he can lose all of it. And if you have some kind of an affiliate funnel that throws lots of traffic to a specific online poker application. Only where in markets where there's allowed, of course not in the United States or in specific places in the United States where it's not allowed. So there, in these places, it should be make sure that people are knowing what they do. Now, there is one of the famous lawsuits which is called the Terra Marketing lawsuit. It's regarding guys called Terra Marketing, they're affiliates, and they wanted to push some kind of product. So they said, when they advertised it, they said, as seen on CNN. And everybody said, wow, it's like as featured in the CNN, and then they got a lawsuit from the CNN because, of course, that product, it was the 1, 2, 3 step diet product, and it wasn't featured on CNN at all. So what they said to the judge, said, come on, we're not wrong, because we bought some kind of banners on the CNN.com website, so we could use the term as seen on CNN. So I rest my case. You understand what I'm saying here? All need to be here really honest, really clear in the advertising, really specific in the terms and conditions, and make sure that you know what you do. Because what's going on in the last year, there was in October 2015 in the US Congress, lots of dynamics behind the scenes with the FTC regarding what is called the advertising, and the CFTC regarding the commodities, and not only in the United States, also in Europe. All the eyes are on this industry. And it means that all of us need to make sure that we do everything properly, everything right, according to the book, and properly regulated.
Thank you, Tal. Govind, you deal with a lot of developers. Can you also please share, because I think this is great, like the story that Tal just said, because people can relate to it. Can you share any story or lessons learned from things that you should really be careful about, or tips for success?
Yeah, great. See, I think one of the primary things everyone has to focus on is growth, not just the product, as I was mentioning earlier. And around growth, there are a couple of things I definitely would want to mention, like a referral program, which is extremely important for every app's growth. I think working around the referral program, you should not force the user that you need to refer so-and-so to get things done. It has to be a part of the app's app cycle and app's experience. One of the examples that I can always share is there's an app called the League app, which is an invite-only dating app in the US. What this app does is, if the user doesn't have an invitation to get into this app, you need to sign up to be in the waiting list. And the sign up goes up to wait for 3 months, 4 months, or whatever. And the one option that you have out there is invite your friend. If you invite your friend, you will be scaling faster in the list of wait list. So that's a brilliant strategy, because it goes along with the app's content. And after this, there are a lot of people. There's more than 78% higher conversion on this. There are a lot of people who, of course, wanted to get into the dating application, and the only way for them to get into the dating application is invite their friends. And through this, there were more people signing up. So I think a referral program, the concepts like this, is going to really help users to grow their app in a better way. Yeah.
Thank you. Very interesting. Daniel, I'm sold on the, I buy the analytics. I understand the importance of it. Can you also share some stories? I'm sure you have customers that, hey, I want analytics, I understand it, but then they don't have anybody in their team to interpret and take conclusions from the analytics. Can you also share a little bit about what problems you see with the app developers and tips?
So first, I can easily relate to the startup environment, to growth stories, because ClicksMob as a company, we're a self-funded company. We've grown dramatically in the past 3 years. We started in January 2013, and we're now more than 55 employees with 3 global offices. So in terms of growth, first, my number one point is hire great people and get a great team, because at the end of the day, technology is important and technology is an enabler. However, you have to have a great team of dedicated people who are hungry for success, who want to make and want to build great things. So this is basically my number one tip is, get great people and combine it with technology. Again, I'm not sure if I answered your question exactly, but I think it's a number one tip.
No, I like the tip. I was just saying, do you have cases where people get your analytics, but they don't have anybody on their teams to actually look at the data? So do you guys walk through the process, like coach them?
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of as a mobile performance company, we work with a lot of small, medium, and large companies, but specifically with startups, we help them in the media planning and the media strategy, and which channels to, how to get users, which countries to focus. So basically, we help build them their complete mobile acquisition strategy across all channels, across all mediums. And especially myself, this past week, I've met with a lot of startups, both here in Bangkok and in Singapore. And it feels to me that there's and actually this conference also is an evidence to that there's a big hype around technology, around startups, around growth. I think we're very fortunate to be, part of this exciting time of mobile and technology.
Cool. Bennett, same question to you. I mean, dealing with all these startups, can you share like some success stories where these guys made really good strategy in terms of video ads, or some mistakes that you saw that people should try to avoid?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, similar to what Daniel said, people here in this room who I've spoken to are very, very passionate about apps, about games, about being a developer, and I would encourage them to be just as passionate about their app as a business as they are as a product in itself. So for all the time that you spend developing characters, developing graphics, I'd also encourage you to really focus on how you're going to acquire users and how you're going to monetize those users, because that's ultimately what you need to achieve to be successful in this space.
Right, so very smart guys. I think they gave very good tips. Make sure if you want to follow up with them, they are here, right? They are here to connect with other people and network, so please catch them. Thank you so much. I want to thank the speakers.
May I please invite to the stage Mangalam from GMASA to present tokens of appreciation to our gentlemen panelists, including Govind Kavaturi from Branch Metrics, Tal Itzhak Ron from Tal Ron, Drihem Co, Bennett Carroll from Vungle, Daniel Newman from ClicksMob, and our awesome moderator, Tiago Costa Alves from Aptoide.